We're here with Mike from Harebrained Studios. He's going to give us a quick look at Battletech. This is the demo from PAX and from GenCon, but we're going to do it live.
Right on, yep. We're going to wait for Darius here to finish talking. Because this is a demo build, I don't even have a way to skip it. Yeah, so Battletech is a turn-based tactical game. We kickstarted it late 20.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year. Wow, sheesh, time flies. And we first unveiled our Super Pre-Alpha demo at GenCon. This is the same demo that we're showing now here at MechCon, although we did swap a couple of the mechs in for variety. So instead, we now have a Griffin and a Trebuchet on our force, as well as an Atlas and a Commando. So a little bit about that, like in Battletech, do you want me to describe sort of like Battletech stuff, or assume? Okay. So different mechs serve different functions on the battlefield. So in our
different weights.
Yeah, in our force here, I've got Commando. Here's our light scout mech. The Atlas here is our big heavy. Griffin and the Trebuchet are both kind of long-range medium mechs. The Griffin will act as a little bit more of a sniper. It only has 2 weapons, but they're both very effective at long range, PPC and an LRM. And then the Trebuchet's got a little bit more long to medium range capability, and it's sort of my Swiss Army knife back here.
So yeah, when you move, you can see that's kind of their cone of vision.
Yeah.
And you kind of see the fog of war there in the background.
Exactly, yeah. So we don't have a grid in the game. It's a free movement system. So you can see you can move wherever you want within your movement range. So you click once to set your position, and then you decide which way you want to face, basically. I'm going to try to stay in formation and just cautiously move towards my objective over here. By the way, you'll want to get some photos of this guy before you leave too.
Oh, absolutely.
This is our new, our very new unveiling here at the show of something that we're hopefully going to be selling soon.
Yeah, it's going to be some awesome merch for MechWarrior fans.
Yep. So we've got a thing in our more recent builds where you can move all your units concurrently until combat starts. But there's a lot of stuff like that we just didn't get stable in time to cut for a demo. One of the things about game development is it's always in motion, and you're always just capturing, like a little slice of development.
So yeah, currently you have no idea where the enemy is. So
I have no idea. I've never played this demo before, and I don't know where they're going to be. But yeah, so one of the interesting things about the game is sensors, and sort of as you progress, enemies come into sensor range before they come into visual range, and so depending on the quality of your sensors, you may not know exactly what they are.
So that's where you're going to want to look into different mechs, like the Beagle, like BAP.
Exactly. There's a lot of customization that goes. Is the Beagle 3025?
Wait, no, that's earlier.
I think it's earlier. Okay.
I think so. I'll have to check my books on that one.
I know, I can't remember. So forests provide cover. They also reduce line of sight. So it's useful to move through forest, especially if you're on the approach here like I am.
It's going to be like crowdfunding. Until X number of people sign up for us to be friends, we're not and everything else. There's also a secret. Same thing for these hoodies. It doesn't expose itself.
So you're giving them a nice big target and hiding the rest of your forces in the forest.
That's my plan, yeah. I'm going to move the Atlas up front and center because I know it can. So this is an interesting thing about our game. You can reserve units down to act later in the phase, which is useful if you want to wait and see what the enemy does first. So like right now, I'm just leaving my guys in the forest. I have not spent their action for this round yet, but I'm waiting to spend it later. So the nice thing about faster mechs is they have a higher initiative. So it's kind of like D&D, like you have a higher initiative. You can go sooner, or you can wait and go later in the round. Unlike D&D, initiative resets with each subsequent round, so you're not penalizing yourself in the long run. You just get some more tactical flexibility. So I'm going to reserve down again.
Sure, unless you kind of position your
Yeah,
forces.
because I don't even have physical line of sight yet. So I'm just waiting for the enemy to move up through the center because that's where I want the enemy.
Who? Us? Us. You're full. What's his name? Watch the backpack, you'll kill him, man.
Saw him for a second.
Yeah, it seems like the AI is already pretty good about using the terrains.
In certain situations, yeah, we've actually been working a lot on the AI recently and letting it do a little bit more intelligent stuff in more long-range pathfinding. But yeah, in the demo, it kind of knows what this terrain is like and how to accommodate it.
So can you set like an ambush where you've got enemy mech comes into position and they automatically fire on them, almost like an Overwatch?
No, so the reserving is actually sort of our version of that. So rather than an automatic response, you'll
just act sooner
reserve your action. So like so now I can react to him, and I could do that sort of regardless if I had reserved my action down. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I think I'm actually just going to wait. So a lot of times what that'll do is it'll let you wait until after the enemy's shot. So like if I'm around the corner, I can wait for the enemy to move out, take their shot, and then move around and shoot them. And they can't shoot me back because they've already moved.
Got it.
For the turn.
So does the weight of the mech affect their initiative at all?
Exactly. So light mechs have an initiative of 4, medium mechs have 3, heavy mechs have 2, and assault mechs have 1. And it's by weight class because we feel like it represents the mech's basically inertia. So the assault mechs are heavier, therefore they cannot react as fast. Even though there's some heavier mechs that move faster or slower, in terms of distance travel, they don't have as good of a reaction time. So see, I'm not usually this patient, but I thought I'd try playing differently this time because I played the demo a few times. So I'm just trying to wait for the enemy to get as close as they can, knowing that this forest is going to shield me from the worst of their attacks. And then I'm going to hopefully jump out and do some damage.
So now you've got vehicles in there. Playing games like Mech Commander, for instance,
yeah.
The vehicles were a nuisance, but they weren't really a big threat. I mean, they could get a lucky shot, but how are you guys doing vehicles in the game to make them more of a useful force?
So vehicles are only going to be enemy controlled, so you're only going to be controlling a lance of 4 mechs. However, enemy vehicles, really their primary function is to be sort of very specific threats. So
like an LRM.
Yeah, like several LRM launchers, like they're popcorn, right? Like 2 hits and they're dead. But if you don't take care of them, they can do a lot of damage, and especially like in indirect fire.
You only got to be lucky once.
Yeah. So like these guys right here, the strikers, they can fire indirectly. So if this commando has line of sight on my guy, all of these strikers can shoot over the mountain. You can see these curved lines. And so this is an example where these vehicles are really weak on their own, but here, if like all 3 of them indirect fired my mech, that can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, line of sight seems to really matter. I like the intuitive lines that you guys have.
Thanks,
I think that'll be helpful for people who are not necessarily, really deeply entrenched into the gameplay.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time on just UI polish and trying to make everything, like you said, feel intuitive and easy to pick up. This is an alpha strike. It does a lot of damage.
So that's firing every weapon that you have.
Yeah, every single weapon. you can choose and generally should choose which weapons to shoot or not shoot, but in this case that was just too good of a target, I couldn't pass it up. And it looks like I did destroy the mech, so I'd say it was worth it. So I'm flanking around here, and because I reserved these guys' actions down, I'm actually getting to cover a lot more distance. I'm basically almost able to make it all the way around here before the enemy has a chance to react. So my next turn, I'll get to pop out and do some rear armor damage. So rear armor is always the weakest, so if you can flank around and get a rear shot, it's really powerful.
So speaking of the UI, can you talk a little bit about some of the actions we see down at the bottom underneath your pilots during the next turn?
Yeah, definitely. So here, basically you got standard attack. Multi-target allows you to split your weapons fire between up to 3 targets. We don't have it in this demo. You can move forward, backwards, you can sprint. So I've been sprinting, and actually I'll probably do it right now. Sprinting allows you to move further, but then you won't be able to shoot. You basically sacrifice your shooting action for distance, but it's useful for sprinting around here and flanking the enemy. It also makes you harder to hit because you were moving faster. And then jump. Certain mechs, I'll show you in a second, have jump jets that'll allow us to effectively ignore the terrain and jump over. I'm not going to do this because that's going to put me in the line of fire, but I could, whereas another mech would have to jump around, basically.
So mech customization is a pretty big part of this universe.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you guys going to go into the completely ludicrous stuff? Like when you look at the end of like Mech Commander 2, I had an Atlas with jump jets, which is insane.
We're still sort of trying to suss out the right boundaries. It's going to give you a pretty good amount of flexibility. One thing we are doing is weapon hardpoints. So if you have a chassis with an energy hardpoint, you cannot put a ballistics weapon in it. So you have to sort of obey by the chassis rules. And really, we just want to make sure that different mech chassis still feel unique. And so if you can customize any aspect of a mech, then you just get sort of blank containers that don't have any...
there's no personality.
Yeah, exactly. As far as putting jump jets on an Atlas, though, maybe. It might not be a great idea. Like, there's ways we can do things where it's like, you could do that, but the balancing of it is such that
the
maybe
trade-off
that's not,
is bad.
Yeah. So that's probably where I land on that topic. But like I said, we'll kind of see how that develops. Hey, everybody, shoot at my Atlas.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly. I think we're just going to try to squish one of these.
This is where that multi-fire would be really useful.
Yeah, it would be. And so now I'm going to not fire all my weapons because I want to conserve heat. So I'm just going to splash them with missiles. Missiles do more predictable damage because there's a lot of individual hits. And so the average is that it'll probably kill this guy. Yep.
So it looks like you're not going to get that back damage on that.
No, so this
he's
guy's
still facing that direction.
He
Yeah,
knows what
he
I'm
knows
up
where you're
to.
at.
But I am going to reserve and just wait for him to act first.
Sure, yeah, he may hit one guy, but you get 3. I like that you can see the heat level of the enemy mechs as well, so you can kind of see where they are.
Yeah. And we have flamers too, so you can definitely choose as a strategy to try to overheat the opponent.
Yeah, I guess depending on the terrain, that could be really useful.
So I'm still waiting. See, now he moved over this way. I don't think he saw me there just yet. So
That just happened to be where he landed.
Yeah. Now I am starting to wish I'd done this a little bit faster because all my mechs have been out of the fight for a couple turns. But
yeah, and they're kind of out of range.
But here we go. Here's a rear armor shot. For what it's worth, did a little damage.
So when you're firing, I saw some percentages down there in the corner. Is that the percent to hit?
Yeah, so it's on a per weapon basis because different weapons behave differently, as you know. Let's see, I'm actually going to jump over for this guy.
Yeah, so you can hit him with your PPC.
Yeah. So that should work. and I'm just inside the sweet spot for the PPC. You get too close, and these weapons are actually less effective because they're long-range weapons.
Oh, nice. I had not seen that ranging thing before.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
So, but I've managed to position this so that I'm all right. Got a pretty good
76%.
Yeah. That'll hurt. All right, so it looks like I just punched through his left torso. We don't have limbs falling off yet, but if we did, I think his arm would be falling off.
That perfectly fits like how I'd expect that to smile they had.
All right, so Trebuchet here is gonna indirect, I think. Nope, direct fire. We got a bunch of LRM-15s on it. Still standing though.
I love how terrain really matters in this game.
It does, yeah. Terrain is huge. All right, so this hunchback here is standing right in front of me with an AC-20, which is deadly at close range. Fortunately, my Atlas also has an AC-20, which is deadly at close range, so I'm going to try to finish the hunchback off before it can do more damage to me. You can see it blew my left arm off last turn.
It's a good bit of damage, but still standing.
Yeah. So you can see here, because I did reserve down on my last action, I'm actually getting to shoot this guy again.
Yeah, you get to act first.
Before he gets to respawn, and that's because we're in a new round now, and my guy's has a faster reaction time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vancouver. The local time is 30:50.
Still being worked on.
Your Atlas has made a really nice shiny target.
I know, she's actually taken more damage than I was hoping she would, but she's hanging in there. So again, I'm only firing what I think I need to, just to conserve heat. Oh, they still got the hunchback standing. There we go.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
So the shirts and the mechs going to be something that you theoretically want to wear, or just pretty that
Waiting on you, Commander. I read you, Commander.
So how much are you guys taking from games like Mech Commander? You know, you're going to salvage a base. Are you guys going to have like pop-up turrets on the enemy side? that sort of thing?
You know, we've got turrets in the game now. I'd say it's kind of a tough question. Like, there's so much that's just like part of the world and part of what you would expect from a turn-based game. Like, even though Mech Commander is real-time, there's like a lot of parallels to draw. You know, some of it is just sort of intuitive, as opposed to like, oh, let's take that specific thing from Mech Commander. It's more like, well, of course we want to have salvage and
Sure, just things that you'd expect.
yeah, and vehicles and asymmetrical encounters. So here we're gonna. So depending on how long you want to go, there's another like 10-minute combat here. We can play it through, or we can wrap it up here.
Let's see it.
All right. So looks like we got at least one striker over there, and that's all that we can see right now. So combat hasn't started yet, so I'm in a pre-combat mood, so I'm not going to get to shoot this turn.
Yeah, but you're in their range too.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of highlights the danger of letting your Atlas hang too far back.
Exactly, yeah. This time I didn't move in too close to formation, and I think I might be paying the price for it, but we'll see. Then again, my Atlas has gotten pretty beat up over the last fight, so maybe it's good that I held her in reserve a little bit more. Nope. Got something up on the hill.
Yeah, from a missile perspective, that's not so good for you.
Yeah. What? I'm going to keep on going this way for the moment. Oh.
Yeah, I can see where the evolution of the multi-shot came from.
Yeah. I would definitely split that shot if I had the opportunity.
I imagine you guys are just kind of discovering that stuff organically through playthrough.
Yeah, there's definitely, we've had a very iterative development cycle so far. You know, before we made this demo, we were prototyping in a really rough code base, just like over and over again. Particularly movement and like the turn order. There's a lot of ideas that it's like you can do your best on paper, but it's not the same as seeing it in a game and reacting to it. And so we try to always embrace that methodology in our work.
I like that you guys are starting with combat and then kind of iterating out from there. Make the game fun and then
and that's really the core of the experience, right? And everything else we can build up on top of that. But if we don't have this solid foundation, then it's sort of like building on quicksand.
Yeah, I don't think you have a shot from there.
No, my plan is to just kind of walk up here and let the Atlas get shot at some more and hope for the best, really.
Oh, they're gonna descend.
Yeah, this build we didn't have any restrictions on movement downwards, so they definitely. In the final game, though, we do want you to be able to jump off a cliff, but you might take damage. It might be less than good for you. So here's another example of indirect fire. My trebuchet can still hit that guy. Because my other unit can see him.
Are you guys thinking about doing any sort of environmental damage, like being able, we hit the forest with LRMs, just set it on fire, sort of thing?
We're not sure about forests yet, but I can blow up buildings. So here's an example of that. Well, actually, hold on 1 second. So any man-made building, you'll be able to. Never mind, I missed.
It's damaged.
That was embarrassing. Any man-made building structure, you'll be able to attack and eventually blow up, though.
So what's it been like having this much exposure to your fans? Have you guys had, kind of the super fan that's come in and be like, oh wait, hold on, that's not in that right era, or that's not the right loadout, or?
Not that much, actually. I think we've been really. There's things that we're doing that are certainly different than tabletop, but at the end of the day, like every design decision we're making is to try to make something that feels true to the roots of Battletech and to the themes and just ideas of the setting. And so, we're really doing everything we can to make like different mechs behave the way that fans would expect them to, and to make combat feel like Battletech. And I know that's kind of that's an amorphous thing to say. But it is because it's guiding our design choices. Even if we change something in how the game works, I think that by and large fans have really understood why we're doing that, and still, we just got like amazingly positive reactions out of all the Battletech fans at GenCon, and it seems like we're off to a good start here at MechCon too so far. So we're just at the end of the day, we're trying to make a great video game and a great Battletech game as well. So some
Wow,
damage.
I'm surprised it's still standing.
Yeah. And I'm overheating. So one thing that I am not generally very good at is heat management in Battletech. I'm too impatient. I like to fire all my weapons.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah. Brutal. The trick with PPCs, they do a ton of damage, but it's so easy to...
They have to hit like that. Yeah, you've lost a lot of weapons on that Atlas.
She's still in the fight. The nice thing about vehicles, once you punch through any of their armor, they're dead. So even a tough tank cannot last as long on the battlefield as a mech.
I like that mechanic so that when you shut down, you have to take that round and restart your mech.
Yep. Yeah, you lose action, you lose activity because of heat, basically. Your pilot can also take injuries from heat. So there's a number of...
kind of risk reward.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll find out. And it'll be fun either way. I'm going to jump on top of the building. Hey, that did work.
Well, it's cinematic as hell either way.
Worth it.
Oh, way to end it.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. Way to end it. That was awesome.
Do you have any other questions about the game or our plans for the future? Or?
So, yeah, I mean, you guys have shown this demo at GenCon and at PAX. Can you talk a little bit about kind of your upcoming milestones? Any features the fans should be excited about?
Yeah, you know what? Melee combat's really come a long way in our internal builds in the last couple months, and it's really fun. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about showing people in the Kickstarter beta, which is available to all of our backers at the $50 level and above, which will be launching sometime in the January-March 2017 timeframe. We just put out a Kickstarter update a couple days ago with a little bit more information about that. We also unveiled some of our cool new main characters for the story campaign. I'm really excited about those, and yeah, I mean, most of all though is just being able to get this demo into the hands of backers in the Kickstarter beta next year is our big milestone. Like I said, we've got a lot of new features in combat in our internal builds. So when that hits in the beta with, I don't know what you call, we'll have single player and multiplayer skirmish. And so we're just really looking forward to testing out our combat systems a little bit more, and then building, while the beta is going on, we'll be building all of the story campaign and management simulation gameplay around combat for the launch of the full game this summer.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for coming by.